What's up, guys? So there's been a lot of talk on the Holley forums and stuff about doing the GM LS IAC on a Foxbody. If you have the Ford Foxbody wiring kit that Holley sells, which is what I have. I've been battling issues with my idle air control, and the idle air control that I have is one off of a Ford Explorer, so that may be part of my issue. The reason being is my valve covers they're the old school Ford Motorsport valve covers, and I can't run a stock idle air control with my setup because the connector hits where the actual oil fill tube is. So I decided that I was going to attempt to do the GM LS idle air control. So I'm going to flip you around and show you what all I have, what all you'll need, and hopefully I'll get some video of me doing some of the work and kind of guide everybody through. So if you're interested in doing this, it'll make it easy on you. So I'm going to flip you around right now. Okay, so first thing is you can get this Ford bolt pattern, and the hole pattern is for a Ford IAC, but it's got the GM stepper motor on it. See that? This is like 25 bucks on Amazon. You can Google it and find the part number. Next thing is Holley sells this. It's the 570-211 4-cavity female black connector. So you can see in the box, it comes with the connector that plugs into the idle air control, the terminals, the little seals for the wire, and a little clip that holds it in. Okay. Now you'll need a set of crimp tool like this one or something similar. So as you can see, it's got the 24 to 22 gauge wire crimp, 20 to 18, and 16 to 14. And then it's got the seal and the seal. So there's two different size seals. The seals are these, the little green things that I showed you. That's the seals. So that basically makes that a weather tight connector. So that's that on parts wise. You'll need wire. So the company I used to work for, I sourced a cable right here. This is just a regular 4-conductor 20 gauge cable. This stuff is extremely cheap. So if you don't have a 4-conductor cable, Holley sells a 4-pin. It's basically 4 wires with the pins that plugs into that JB1A or JB1 or J1B, whatever it is, connector that you'll have to plug into. Which leads me to my other thing you'll need. Hold on. Video's getting a little shaky here. Here we go. So you'll need these. These are the AMP Super Seal 1mm terminals or pins. Okay. So these will snap into the connector right here. So these will snap into the connector right here. So you can see those white plugs. So I'll basically unplug this connector, pop those little plugs out, and then I'll pop, once I get the wires crimped on the cable, I'll push those wires in, and I'll feed everything up through the firewall where the harness is, with the rest of the harness. I have some black wire sleeve like Holley uses, so it'll all match. When I get done, it'll look like it's from a Holley, like it's the factory wiring system or harness. So anyhow, I'm going to do that. I'm going to stop what I'm doing. I'm going to stop this video right here, and then I'm going to get to work, and I'll get back to you guys here in a minute. All right. So I got the cable ran, I got the wires crimped on, or the pins crimped on. I flipped. Alright, so alright, so I really hope this is worth it. We'll flip you around and show you. These AMP style connectors are not the easiest things to work with. And when you're just adding 4 pins, I've probably done this the hard way. I pulled all the pins, or I pulled the connector completely apart. And I probably should have just popped that little clip up and popped them in and been done. But I didn't. So here we are. Let me, geez. I made a mess. I mean, I could fix it, but learn from my mistakes. Flip it around and show you. Now, see all these pins right here, right? Now, luckily everything is still held in place. It's in the right, number location, but they got to go through those holes. So at first I tried to run the little piece right here that holds everything together all the way up on the pins and then just slide it back on, and well, that's not working. So I'm gonna have to put each wire in individually and then slide it back together. So that being said, future reference, if anybody does this, do not take the connector apart. You simply pop that little white clip up, pop the pins in and push it down, and you're done. So I've literally wasted about 30 minutes doing it this way. So please, please, please learn from my mistake. Do it the right way the first time and don't go through the crap I'm going through right now. All right. I'll get back to you guys in a bit. All right. So I got it, and that sucked. I ain't gonna lie to you. That was terrible. If I had this on a bench with a whole wiring harness laid out and like a little vise, piece of cake. But with that much room coming out, not a piece of cake. So, like I said, learn from my mistakes. So what you want to do is, so basically when you're adding these wires, you'll pop those little white things that are in there out, okay? Pop those out. Or, I mean, I guess at the worst case, you can just, if you have to pop this end off, that's fine. But do not pull everything out. So you pop this little clip right here up. You push up on the wide part right there, just easy. Poop, pop it up. Push your new wires in. Push it down. You're done. If you do it the way I done it, expect to be here for about a good 20-30 minutes getting all those pins back in there. So anyhow, I'm going to plug this back up. So there's that. So now I want to get all this wire right here, cable tied up with everything else, go up there, put my black wire sleeve on it, feed the wire sleeve through the firewall so everything matches, get my length how I want it, mount the IAC, get the cable length where I need it, cut it, peel it back, strip it, put the new terminals on it, plug it in. Then you got to take and hook the laptop up to it. I'm going to have to go into the settings, basically take the Ford idle air control. I'm going to take it out of the outputs, so it frees that output up. Then I'll change it into the idle settings. I can show you all that. I'll change the idle settings, and I'll put in the GM LS IAC style idle air control. What I'm going to do, I'm going to open up one of the global, one of the global files, and I'm going to take the park positions and all that from one of those for the GM style idle air control, and start with those factory settings, and then I'll tune from there. Just because I don't know anything about the GM idle air controls, how the park positions. With the factory Ford stuff, I can look on my actual Tuner Pro software or my binary editor, and I can look at the factory Ford tune for the idle air control and you know, get the park positions and, you know, the pole, you know, I mean, just all that stuff on there. With the GM stuff, I can't do that because I don't have any GM, I don't have any daggum GM tuning software other than the Holley. So that's what I'm going to do. Like I said, I hope this is worth it. If this is not worth it, then I'm going to let you know it's not worth it and to not waste your time and money. So far, there's a bunch of people that claim it is. I don't know yet. I'm going to find out. Right now, the wiring part should have been easier than what it was, but I made it hard. That's on me for not looking at it good enough before I started, which I should know better because the line of work I'm in is to troubleshoot, diagnose, and fix wiring issues and mechanical issues. So I should have known better, but I didn't do it. So anyhow, I'm going to get to finishing this up and get back to you guys in a bit. Alright guys, so you can see right here, pins 1 and 2 is the IAC low, IAC high, and pins 8 and 9 are B low and B high. Now when you trace those over, they come over to the IAC motor. So you got 8 and 9 is on A and B, 1 and 2 is on C and D. Now, the factory colors are purple with a blue stripe, purple with a yellow stripe, gray with a green, or I'm sorry, purple with a white stripe, and purple with a black stripe. I think I think GM uses those same colors as well for the factory idle air control wiring. So what I done was the cable that I had, it had red, black, white, green, and brown. Of course, I always cut the brown out. And so what I have always done in my line of work is that red and black were always my I plus, I minus. White and green, or we used to use blue and yellow, was always V plus, V minus, which is, if you don't know that, I plus, I minus is current, plus and minus. V plus, V minus is voltage plus and minus. So I just carry that same mindset over to this cable. So I put red and black on 1 and 2, white and green on 8 and 9. It makes it simple for me. Just remember, when you do this, you do not have to have those exact wire colors. As long as you know which wire is on pin 1 and 2 and which one's on 8 and 9, you basically transfer that from the ECU to the idle air control, and that's all you need. Now, would it be cool to have those? Sure. I almost paid $33 and bought the Holley harness that they make. It's not really a harness, it's just 4 individual wires with the pins already on them. But it's like 33 bucks for 4 wires that are, I think, 10 feet long maybe. That's a lot of money for 4 wires with 4 pins on them. When, I mean, you could literally buy those pins for like 50, 60 cents a piece. Now you got to pay shipping. So you could buy 10 pins for, I think shipping and all was about $11. It's pretty cheap compared to 33. And then you can go down to your local, you know, AutoZone or wherever, Amazon. You can buy the wire on Amazon for like probably less than 10 bucks. And so anyhow, that's just want to let you guys know that you can do this an easy way. You can do it the right way if you want to. I'm used to just kind of improvising, making stuff work. The way I'm doing it's going to work. It's going to be completely fine. The wires are going to be covered up with shrink tubing and you know, that the black wire sleeve stuff, so it's not a huge deal. But anyhow, so looking on the connector, trying to find if it shows where pins A and B are, and it does. So if you look, there's an A, there's a D, there's a B, and a C. So you transfer that to here, there's A, B, C, D. So 8 and 9, which is my white and green, is going to go in A and B, and red and black is going to go in my C and D. Simple enough. All right, so I'm going to get out here, get my wire prepped, get the sleeve on it, the shrink tubing on. I've already got the wire cut and strip, and you typically only have to strip back like, that's about 3/16 of an inch. You can go with like 1/8 of an inch with these pins, because the part that's actually being crimped is not very, maybe 1/8 inch at the most. So I'm going to take my wire sleeve, slide over this, slide me a piece of shrink tubing over it, and crimp my pins on, where I actually slide the seals over it, then crimp my pins on, heat the shrink tubing down, and put everything together and plug it in and get stuff changed inside the software. So when I get all that done, I'll get back. Alright guys, here's something else. I bought this kit right here from Harbor Freight. It's a shrink tubing kit. I've already used a lot of it, but and this is some pretty good stuff. So anyhow, that's what I'm doing here. So got my sleeve over, got my shrink tubing over. Now it's not that short. I have it scrunched up. It'll actually go all the way out to here when I'm said and done. So I'm going to get ready to get everything up here, get this connector on it, and get it plugged in. And I'll walk you through the software, how to change all that stuff, and then go from there. See you in a minute. Alright guys, so here's the wire crimped on, or the pins crimped on before I put the seals on. So I'll show you how this goes. So you can see that's a nice crimp right there, and that's because of those. So now what I'll do is, if I can't do this one hand, I don't have a tripod out here, so I don't have a tripod. Well, I got a small tripod. Anyhow, it's just rambling. So see that? So I can get that in on there, a good shot of that. So basically, you'll run that wire seal up to there, and then you'll use the round part just to smash those little legs around. What it'll do is it'll just crimp them in a circle, and it's just enough force to keep that from sliding out whenever you push everything together, and it just holds it in place. And of course that fits snug around the wire, and that keeps moisture and water from getting in there. So for those that don't know, probably most everybody that does this knows, but for those that don't, that's why it's called a seal. So anyhow, I'm gonna get all these on and get these seals crimped on, and then get this connector put together. Alright, so you can see that's the end result. Man, my camera really not wanting to focus on these little wires and stuff. See that? That's all it is. It just holds it on. I give you a shot of these pliers so you can go look them up on Amazon. They was like 15 bucks or something. So the IWS IWS-1424B. They make better ones than these out there. If you Google or go on Amazon and just look up WeatherPack wire crimpers. So all these type of connectors and stuff are all GM style Delphi connectors and AMP connectors that Holley uses, but it's the same type of connector as the WeatherPack stuff. So I have a little WeatherPack kit that I bought off Amazon in here that's really good for, you know, if you're just hooking up like an MSD box or you know, something that doesn't draw. Now you can get them where they can handle some pretty decent current, but the kit that I bought, I think, is like maybe 10 to 12 amp. I don't know. I'd have to look now, see what it is. But so anyhow, there's the new IAC mounted. Here's the old one. So this is a Ford Explorer. So you see the connector's different. So I had to take the connector off of this, and I had to put the Ford Explorer style connector on it. This is the old setup that takes up your idle air, or that takes up an output. But if you look over here, I kept this. So if this GM stuff don't work out, then I can try to find a Ford Mustang idle air control. I think the F-150s too will work. and see if that's any better. So I kept this in case I ever needed it. So anyhow, all right, I'm gonna get this connector put together on here, get all my sleeving ran up and my shrink tubing shrunk up, and get everything plugged in. I'll get back with you guys in a minute. All right, guys, so there's the final product. These things go together pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory whenever you put them together. To a point. If you have any issue with getting these connectors together, you can look me up on Instagram, as it's the same as my YouTube channel, or you can just hit me up. I'll be sharing this on Facebook. You can just send me a message on Facebook, and I could probably walk you through a lot of this stuff that I didn't really cover in detail. So anyhow, finished product there. I'm going to route this with that, a couple cable ties on it to hold it, plug it in, then I open up the software. Alright, cable tied up. You can't even, I mean, it looks exactly the same as it did before I started, except that put a little cable tie right here to keep that from getting tangled up in my throttle down there and hanging it up or something. So everything should be good. If this works out, then I'll be taking this wire and probably just folding it up underneath there in case I ever need it for anything. But all right, let's open up the software. Let's see here, I'll just minimize that. Well, actually, before I do this, well, okay, I'll show you. We'll open global. Yeah. Go to GM LS based. I don't know what these 58 and 24. Oh, that's some LS crap. I have no idea what that is. Maybe it's the teeth on the, I don't know. Well, let's just do that one. Idle settings, parked. Now, so this is really similar to what the Ford is. It's not much different. So I may leave what I have and just adjust the bottom numbers right here, because my top numbers, I think I run at about, so basically this is you never really want to run your idle air control at 100% because you will shorten the life of it at 100%. So I normally change these numbers to about 95 or 98. Looks like I got 90, so you could change that to 98 right there, and then it would never completely max out, which I don't think you'll ever need it to fully max out. So if you go over here to fuel, startup enrichment. Now, I want to do that. Hold on a second. Where was I just at? There we go. So yeah, there we go. Idle speed, I'm sorry. So, I mean, even if you're like at 20 degrees, 0 degrees outside, the target speed on the LS is 1100, and then it goes down to 700. On my car, I have it just straight across at 680 all the way across, even though it don't idle that low, but still. So even if you did follow this ideology right here, it's not going to take 100% of the idle air control to get to that 1100 RPM. So, like I said, you'll never idle air control will never fully max out, I don't think. If somebody out there knows more than me about this, then yeah, by all means, school me. I could use it. So, all right, I'm going to clean up a little bit, get the laptop hooked up to the car, get the key on, upload the tune that I have in the ECU now, make those changes, download the tune, and then start it. Well, as you can see, my battery is at literally 1%. Man, I don't know what in the crap happened. So I'm gonna have to pick this video back up tomorrow. I literally drove this car like, I don't know, maybe a week ago to get the front end aligned on it, and then come back and battery's completely dead. It hadn't done this yet. I don't know what's caused this. It hadn't done this though. This is new. So something has had a draw on it. Headlight switch is off. I thought maybe I left the headlights on in the garage or so. I don't know. But frustration. So anyhow, I guess tomorrow I'll pick back up and hopefully have a full battery and be able to test this thing out. Anyhow, I'll pick back up tomorrow.